Hello and welcome to all the Web3 enthusiasts. This is Max speaking, and this is a new exciting episode of Synopsis Talks. Today, our guest is David Rhodus, founder of Permissionless Labs and contributor to Pipe Network. Hello, David. How are you today?
Thanks for having me on. I'm doing well. I'm thrilled to be here and chat today about Pipe Network.
Yeah, there will be a lot of things to chat about. So we have more questions prepared than usually. Let's see how it goes. I'm 100% sure it's going to be insightful and interesting for everyone. So let's get the party started and begin with the introduction. So could you please tell us about yourself, about your background, and tell us how and why you started career in the Web3 industry?
Yeah, I've been an engineer for probably about 30 years actually, so a long time. Did a pretty long stint initially um, in life working in the health insurance industry, like moving like COBOL applications off of mainframes. Did that for about five or 6 years and got pretty bored and started looking at something super challenging and looked at online video streaming and it was super infancy then. It was like real-time video player was the only solution out there. So I spent about 15 years working on online video streaming. Um, had one great exit in 2015 to AWS. We sold a company called Elemental. So that video transcoders in the AWS console today still. So if you want to go play and uh, pay a lot of money to process video, it's in there. Um, and then after that, I was like really, kind of blown away with like blockchain technology. Most of my like, I won't say most, but a bunch of my like close colleagues at Amazon were like tracking the Ethereum at the time, and they're like, "Oh, you should put some Bitcoin into this ICO." And I'm like, "Wow, this is super risky. I don't know." So some of them did, and unfortunately, I did it, and but I was still really curious about the technology, especially once it released, and just played with it a whole bunch, and even tried to like talk my bosses into like, let's use this for digital rights management and things and video workflows, and none of them would really have it. We played with it, so um, I think in my mind, like it always like made sense, like Web3 to integrate with like more traditional workflows and help secure them in a way that is like impossible with existing databases and things like that. And engineer, I just love like, security and things like that and highly attracted to blockchain.
Awesome. So thanks for sharing. Always interesting to know the path of our guests from since the industry is comparatively young. So mostly our guests made some shift in their career from traditional finance or just not even a finance, just from traditional business into Web3 space. So now we know your story. And of course, today's discussion, unsurprisingly, will be mostly devoted to questions about pipe networks. So let's begin with a big one, but a very general. So could you please tell us who are your average users that run nodes on Pipe's decentralized content delivery network? Who can join the CDN as a node operator, and are there any incentives?
Yeah, so the network today, just to frame everything, is in testnet phase, and it looks like we are probably like two months or so roughly from putting it in production mainnet. And so we're super excited about that. The community's been incredible. So we've had like a tremendous amount of people running nodes. And I think part of that is like we've got two different types of nodes basically. So we have like a storage node, which is like our DevNet environment, we call it. So that's like our Firestarter storage system. And then our test net is more focused on the CDN itself. So the pipe CDN delivery. And those two things kind of work really great together. Um, the CDN, we've been trying to scale it up more slowly. The software is a little bit newer. We had worked on the storage probably for 2 years already. So it had been like very well hardened. So the storage is like permissionless, like the name of the company, and we just want anyone to come in and run the software and join the network. And then if there's some like bad actors, we'll weed them out. But generally, we love people to just join. And the protocol we're building has a lot of like added strength in the number of nodes that join. So there's a huge benefit to have it as like open as possible.
Awesome. So now I had a general picture and making now slowly deeper dive into the technical part of the story. So can you please tell us why did Pipe Network choose to build on the Solana blockchain? Is it the so-called increased bandwidth, reduced latency approach?
Yeah, I don't think there was like a particular reason. We looked at a lot of blockchains out there and played with a lot. Um, we definitely played a lot with Ethereum over many years. Um, we spent a little bit of time like experimenting with Polkadot and thought that was interesting because it was written in Rust and the team just really loves Rust. Um, I think we could max it out about 2000 TPS or something. So it was cool, but there also wasn't much community there after about the first year. So we randomly, uh, I randomly like got to talk to Anatoly, and we're just like talking about like uh, erasure encoding and compression algorithms, just really nerdy stuff. And it just turns out like, oh, he founded this blockchain, and it's like, wow, you're just like our team, like you know all this like crazy nerdy stuff. And um, we went and read the source code of Solana, and we're like, well, this is very unique. We like it, and I think the source code probably was like the deal breaker. And then like Anatoly being so technical was like what really compelled us to even take a look at the blockchain.
Got it. So after playing with many blockchains, what was fun actually, I believe, you came to Solana. Okay, got it. And yeah, Solana is for sure known as a extremely stable network, but still, what losses will Pipe Network incur in case of an outage on Solana, and how do you mitigate the layer one outage risks?
Yeah, that's perfect. So we Pipe Network primarily uses Solana as just like a payment ledger. And so today, like the nodes will process the bandwidth and the storage and serve it up. And then payments are kind of done in async in the background. So we're not like fully dependent upon the L1 like being right in sync. Um, there's definitely some small like um, issues of like people getting bandwidth and not paying for it if the L1 was offline for a long time. But generally, we're more favorable of like just let the system operate, and then the accounting on the back end will catch up at some point. And um, over the years, building software, there's always outages with different components, different databases, or networking switches. So you just got to compensate for those types of events.
Get it, get it. And how much bandwidth do you save for the Solana network?
um, it's a great question. So we host the snapshots in the Solana archive today. So um, it's I'd say they're probably like 5 to 10% of the bandwidth today. Um, Usually globally, we see a little over like 1 to 2 petabytes of bandwidth used per day. Um, I'm hoping they'll kick it up more and like uh, people will start using the snapshots and the history more. Um, the Solana history itself is over a petabyte in storage, so that was a great like first test of like writing so much data to the system.
Well, so as I told you in the beginning, before the recording, I'm not a technical person at all, but what you say sounds really great. And yeah, I wish everything would be growing in the way it should. And let's speak a little bit about, I would say, maybe a business part of the story or use cases. So, could you please tell us what customers do you target? Are they traditional media or Web3 industry participants or both?
Yeah, we love the Web3 customers. I think a lot of them are hyper overpaying for things. So like, they're on hyperscalers and different, easy to spin up technology and they're paying, 10 to 50x too much in my opinion. So we love coming in and like displacing, Amazon storage or Google storage, helping startups there. Um, like there's one in particular where we're still trying to close a deal this week or next. And, um, I think the math was like we will save them like 40, we'll be 42 times cheaper than their existing provider, which is Google. So we're thrilled about that. In general though, like, I did streaming video for a decade or so. So most of my contacts are in kind of the old world of like, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Video, things like that. So um, traditional streaming video is like basically what we targeted the architecture for. So to optimize like um, HLS dash based kind of streaming, live streaming events. Um, and fortunately for us, like in global CDN, that's like 70% of the entire revenue still of the CDN marketplace. So like, we're trying to target where most of the dollars are going today.
Wow, sounds great. And can you tell us who you consider the main competitors of Pipe Network and how do you compete with them? Or maybe you prefer to collaborate?
Yeah, I think, all the competitors today are still Web 2 components.
Hmm.
Um, I think on the storage side, we would look at like uh, Amazon S3 and Google Cloud Storage for the storage component. On the CDN bandwidth component, we would look at probably Akamai, Fastly, and CloudFront. CloudFront's a little bit there. Being able to stream video. Um, there's others like Cloudflare, for example. They're great CDN for like small websites, but you'll never see like a tier one broadcaster like Netflix or Fox or NBC streaming on there. Their latencies are unfortunately too high. So the biggest dragon we're going after is like Akamai. They're the they're the oldest CDN. I think they started in like 95. A bunch of like super nerds from MIT started that up and they just have that first mover advantage and luckily we get some secret sauce to kind of hopefully give them a good run for it.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you. So, healthy competition is also never bad for developing for both sides, and those who evolve better and meet the demands of the market, of course, uh, will win in the long term. Got it. And the next question is about the nodes. So we saw that pipe nodes are hyperlocal. Is there a public pipe CDN node map, and in what regions do you have the biggest number of nodes?
Yeah, I think the um, it's at dashboard that pipenetwork.com. I'll send it to you so you can put it in the show notes or something, make sure it's accurate. But yeah, we've got a couple 100,000 nodes. I think surprisingly, the US is like the least filled in area in the entire world. So we feel, I think that US people are still, even though they're leading all this government crypto stuff right now, it's probably the population's the least comfortable with crypto at the moment. EU is filled in really nicely. APAC is like super covered. So we were shocked, like zooming in and like countries we'd never even heard of. We're like, wow, look at all the nodes there and stuff. So we've got really great global coverage. I think is like customers come on board though, they'll like push the limits of like certain cities and geographic areas, and we end up having to go out to the community and pay out some like geographic bounties to get more nodes spun up in certain cities and metropolitan areas as like we get customer feedback and they're like, this area is a little slower than we'd like. Luckily, that's like part of the super power blockchain to like coordinate nodes and pay out some extra incentives where we need additional bandwidth.
Awesome. So, what we have already discussed. So we started from the very beginning, even from your background, so we know how the things are going on right now. So I think it's a good time to speak a little bit about what's should we expect in the nearest future, in the short term. So could you please tell us what's on Pipe Networks, sorry, roadmap for the coming year?
So there's quite a bit, and every tech company kind of pivots here and there occasionally. So um, I think our main thing is kind of getting it into production right now. Of like I think crypto call it like a mainnet kind of launch. So we're super thrilled about that. As far as like additional offerings outside of the storage and the caching bandwidth today, we're definitely looking at broadening the offering, kind of similar to different CDNs. So like we want to add in a media conditioning software. So it's like a video transcoder that would allow us to like take in video feeds and format it for like any device, like the sizes and bit rates. Um, that actually is like a customer ask already. So that's really cool to like get customers asking us to build things out. Um, this this particular customer is trying to like leverage like uh, I think emerging markets it's called. So like Egypt and different places and work with the current broadcasters there and then also bring in, new video and media there. So super thrilled about that. Um, we're adding like a compute worker to the pop nodes itself. So um, we'll start off with like WASM support, so you can upload like a JavaScript or kind of anything compiled into WebAssembly. And that can be fanned out to the pop nodes, and then they can perform different types of compute, like it could be APIs or it could be, different things. I don't think you would run like AI training or anything right away, but basic kind of like Lambda, AWS Lambda style functions. And then I think the other component we're still weighing and um, we get a lot of asks for is just to expand like how we integrate with AI services. Um, there's a lot of people using Pipe today, like experimenting with like serving up LLM responses and having us cache it in different ways on the pop nodes. And it feels like there's a lot of optimization and unique features there that we can add in. So we're pretty thrilled to like uh, kind of expand into technology sector that we're honestly not extremely familiar with. And I think that'll be a big push over the next year is like honing in some super unique value points with serving up AI.
Awesome. Sounds great, and we'll be looking forward to seeing the updates and what this year brings to us. And one more question about the plans for the development. So let's take Solana Wave. So it's a nice tool to access Solana blockchain history powered by Pipe Networks. Do you plan to collaborate on new products for the Solana ecosystem?
Yeah, so we kind of made this like front end to read off the Solana archive and kind of show how you can process it. So it's processing the blocks within the UI itself. So there's no indexer, and there's been I'd say a couple dozen folks reach out about how to grab that data. Bunch of like dexes and things like that. I think they're trying to probably save money and RPCs or something. And yeah, so we're super excited to collaborate there. Um, I think there's probably other potential experiments we can do with Solana. I think one of the things, like Anatoly suggested, is like experiment putting the accounts database on pipe and then have the Solana validators perform like micro fetches and transactions. So I think the accounts database today on my node is like 600 or 700 gigabytes. So it just churns the disk all day. It's like one of the most like busiest parts of the validator for Solana. And it'd be neat to like have a Solana validator offering that, could fetch this like accounts, the user accounts database remotely and make it more lightweight. And then, if you're a super hardware guy, you still may want to like get the enterprise disk and put it on your computer, but it could decentralize like the validator offering more. That's just one of the ideas we spoke about. I think there's a lot of experiment we'll try to do with Solana. We're just like the Anza engineering team. We're very aligned with like as far as like engineering capabilities and thinking. So it's a great ecosystem to be a part of.
Well, for sure, sounds extremely reasonable. And we came up to the, I would say, final part of today's interview. So easy going it was. The time just flew by, but still have a few more questions to discuss. So the next one is combined even of two parts, but still pretty general to summarize the things. So could you please tell us at least your opinion on how big is the decentralized CDN market is right now compared to the centralized one? And how do you think what will be Pipe Network's place in the overall CDN market 5 years from now?
Yeah, it's a pretty tough question. So I think there's been a few like decentralized CDNs before that have like experimented, and um, we're not aware of any of them that are functioning today. Um, there was one interesting one called, I think, Fleek or something, and they kind of pivoted away more into like AI agents and things like that. So unfortunately for us, because we're a very competitive team, like there is no Web3 competitors in the CDN market today. So it's very nascent. Like I would say we're the only um, truly workable solution out there today. Um, no, like globally, it's fascinating because like 3 to 4 billion people use a CDN every day. So it's like we're probably using one today, even in this video chat. So it just basically helps scale up the internet dramatically. And it's a massive industry. I think it's like 35 billion or something in revenue. I've read like looking in Google. So it's huge. I think if you look at Cloudflare, it's valued at like I want to say like 60 billion or something, 65 billion with like 20% quarterly growth. So it's also like an expanding industry because more people come online and more sites are built. So we're super thrilled to be in this industry. Like, we come from video streaming and like we've definitely broken every CDN out there before over the years. And um, this like hyper local node placement idea we have. Um, has a lot of math behind it that allows us to basically outcompete any existing Web 2 CDN out there. So like as the node is like placed closer to the user, in the neighborhood or potentially like even in your apartment building or something, like the latency drops dramatically, and that just allows so much more bandwidth to flow. And all existing CDNs today are still at a data center level, so like 100, 200 miles away from the user. Um, so it's low enough latency that it works, but it's not like ultra low latency. Like this will be like 10 times lower latency. And we're really looking forward to like, getting the mainnet out there and continue to scale the network because, from like an engineering mathematical standpoint, the more nodes we get, it basically will be impossible for traditional CDNs to compete with this technology.
Sounds extremely encouraging and promising. So we'll be tracking the progress and wish you best of luck with all of this. And since you are the pioneers and flagship, a leader of Web3 CDN, I have no doubts this will happen. Well, awesome. A very encouraging and positive interview is going. Let's, I believe, finish it up on this note. So, time for the last traditional open question, a chance to address directly to our audience. Any piece of advice, any call to action, whatever you would like to say, just please go ahead.
Yeah, I think it'd be great to go to our website, pipe.network, and you click on the documentation and run a node. We need more nodes. We need as many as possible. It's been a few weeks. We launched our Firestarter storage, and that's in the docs now. So it's in testnet, so you can just like swap DevNet Solana into these like testnet pipe tokens and use the storage system, and you can start to build like websites or the next TikTok or YouTube, anything on there. Really excited to get more users. It's been growing quite a bit every day, so we're really thrilled. It's been stable so far, and love for your community to come in and push the limits, even break it if possible, so we can, fix it before we mainnet launch.
Awesome, awesome. So, one of the best call to actions I ever heard, organic and actually combined with a chance to have some new experience, trying the node, taking part in the test net. So, guys, don't be shy, don't hesitate. You are welcomed by the founder of the project. So, thank you very much, David, for this invitation. I do believe that our guys will definitely join in. And for the day, that's it with all the questions. Thank you very much, David, for joining in. We'll be happy to see you in more episodes.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and thanks for our audience for watching till the end. If you have any questions left after this discussion, which was pretty insightful, drop it in the comments section. Follow David on socials, follow Pipe Network. Be active and do your research. So thanks once again. Have a great day, night, whatever is in your region. Bye bye, everyone.
Cheers.